What's going on, traders? Degen Dave here, and we are back on Thursday, bringing another banger for you guys. Man, I don't know if any of you guys caught the big move both on Sunday and Monday, but I did. I feel like super Saiyan mode right now, super fired up, a lot of stuff going on. And for those of you guys that were tuned in on the Sunday Banter Royale, what a crazy win. And yeah, they actually have me doing a scalp session, which is kind of exclusive. And I'm going to give you guys all those details here soon. But before we do, let's get locked and loaded. So before we get started, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you're brand new here, you're like, what the heck is going on? I'm a trader. I love trading when things are going up, when things are going down. It doesn't matter if we're bearish or we're bullish. We're going to make money either way. And yeah, I'm super excited. We're the chart hackers, and we just finished all of our big promotions here. I know we got some more of those here today. Yeah, and I have some winners from last episode, right? I basically told you guys to go into my Twitter and, tell me what the cat is drinking. So I've got 5 winners that I'm going to announce here today. And your job is to message me on Twitter, right? So, but yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's get into it. Yeah, and they told me, hey, you went a little too long last time. You got to keep it under a certain threshold here. So I'm going to do my freaking best to jam as much alpha, some free content. And if you guys love free content, go into the descriptions below. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a TikTok, and yeah, always trying to provide value where I can. So with that being said, let's get into this. So look, I don't want to waste any time here. Let's get right into Bitcoin and what's going on. We are at a very critical level right now. I am leaning to an upside move. I still think there's quite a bit of shorts that need to be dealt with, which is what I had been talking about. We have a lot of major stop losses, probably from a lot of market makers right here. And yeah, we did quite a bit of damage yesterday, right? So we just kept pumping and pumping and pumping. We were at this resistance, right? So this point of control was supposed to be a potential rejection level, but instead Asia opened it up. And yeah, basically stopped out all these shorts or liquidated them, but we still have these guys to deal with, and this is a level that I'm very, very interested in. And so yeah, I personally feel like we need to hold this level. Asia could very well open it right here into the 90K region, anchored VWAP 382 as the initial move into Asia, and then I would love to see some fireworks. Either way, we could potentially see the move up sooner than later. And if you guys were following me in the last couple episodes here, I said, look, I'm not going to get too excited until we break the trend, which we did. We were here last Thursday. I gave the scenario to the upside first, and then also give you guys to the downside scenario. And I was holding a very big Bitcoin short as a hedge, which definitely played out. And hopefully some of you guys have learned that it's always good to hold longs and shorts and have a plan for, however the market goes. And so that way you don't lose as much, or maybe you can become profitable and, keep yourself in the game, keep winning, right? That's kind of the goal here. And so, yeah, personally, if we start losing this level, I'm going to tell you guys right now, we are screwed. So have a plan, right? I'm holding some shorts. I have a couple shorts for you guys, but I'm like more biased towards an upside move continuation. And let's kind of talk about this real quick, right? Like, we had this aggressive sell-off on the Asia Open. There wasn't even a wick high. So let's kind of zoom in here and show you guys, right? Typically Asia likes to kind of take the highs and then dump it. But what did they do? They immediately sold it. And it was, quite aggressive here. And yeah, 84K was kind of the stops. I thought it was interesting for any of you guys that follow me when I say weekend lows, but you guys can see this level here at 83,485. This was a weekend low after the crazy capitulation where everybody was wondering, is crypto going to zero? Is Michael Saylor going to get liquidated? We had this kind of hold here, but this was essentially done on the weekends, and we had this continuation into this rally here. And I had said, look, at some point these guys are going to get dealt with. And in my opinion, I think they pretty much did, right? So we had this 83,827 right here. So essentially they kind of took care of maybe most of them. And I think business is done. Now, if we start to drift and lose this level here, guys, then I think we're coming back down to this level, even down here. And ultimately, in the midterm, yes, we are taking advantage of this little rally here in December. And, if you guys were paying attention, James and I said, hey, look, we'd like to see a kind of a couple weeks into December, some kind of rally. But I am going to be looking to build some big shorts and essentially maximize on a bigger move to the downside if that's what's going to happen here, right? And at the end of the day, it's a liquidity issue. Is retail coming in? There's all kinds of different factors here. But yeah, so ultimately, U.S. market makers, right? Let's kind of play this story real quick. U.S. market makers, they finished off the New York session on Monday with this wick here. And so essentially, if this was the damage done by them, if I was a market maker, I would have had preset limit orders here, right? And Asia didn't come mess with these guys. Asia essentially got their long positions. And so both Asia and US market makers are holding some long positions. And that's why I feel like, hey, look, we're going to see some continuation to the upside. There's still a lot of liquidity that needs to be met and dealt with. Business is not done. And, I'm looking for this rally towards 97, 98, maybe even a fake out into the 100K region. And I think once we kind of find our way up here, there's going to be a lot of euphoria. We're so back. And then what do? They end the party. It's the same shenanigans over and over and over again. So this is kind of where I'm looking for some big shorts, guys. If you want to kind of follow me here, what have I done? I've taken a fib from the high here from the 10th of November to the absolute low. You can see we have our hacker zone here. Showing us 99 to 100K, which would be kind of perfect in my opinion. You've got the 50-day moving average here. You've got this trend line from the all-time highs, right? So I have this trend line from the all-time highs with that second touch here, anticipating that third touch. And yeah, I think this is kind of the play for me here, right? So again, we're either gonna bounce here, hold, and continue to the upside here. Again, bearish Monday, bullish week, continuation of the week. I would like to see continuation, which is why I'm going to be giving you guys a lot of altcoin setups for the long side. But like I said, if we start to drift down here, just understand that a lot of these alts are going to be invalidated, and you should be holding some shorts, and your shorts should be able to hedge you a little bit there. Okay, there's also a lot of support here at 87K. Exactly. We have a value area low here on this mini range. We also have this point of control. So if we do bounce or come down, it could be a 786 or a 618. So in fact, let's just do a fib real quick and see where that takes us. So that 618, that 87.5, that could be it. And then maybe, we'll kind of play it by ear at that point, right? And we can also start tracking this rising trend here, right? This rising trend, it could kind of potentially come into fruition here, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Oops, didn't mean to get rid of that trend line there. But just, again, make sure you guys understand the heartbeat of Bitcoin, because it typically controls the entire market, right? If Bitcoin dumps 1%, 2%, altcoins are going to dump 4, 5, or 6%, and vice versa. Okay, so Banter bubbles, a little bit of a reversal on how we do things here. But, for the week, I'm not going to get into the month, but you can see, yeah, we're green. It's exciting. But at the end of the day, this is just a little relief rally, and I think we're going to... in my opinion, I'm going to fade the relief rally, right? It's very easy to get everybody bullish and excited again, right? You just got to get it to these certain levels. Liquidity starts coming in, everyone starts longing, and then boom, they take it to the downside here, right? So yeah, don't be fooled. We're still ultimately red for the week. A lot of recovery that needs to happen here, right? But you got some shining stars. You've got Quant, Link, 𝗠𝗫. Apparently, 𝗠𝗫 had an ETF launch. James, if you don't mind kind of sharing kind of the news on that real quick, if you are available.
Yeah, they had their ETF go live today, and that's why that thing has been propped up while everything else was falling over. It's held better than expected. I know we had quite a few people trying to short it in the group that were disappointed. It didn't fall over like they wanted to.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, guys, 𝗠𝗫 just had the ETF. Careful shorting it. I know typically we fade that, but 𝗠𝗫 is showing a little bit of strength here.
It's the same with Link. I think that's why that one is showing up the way it is too, because they had an ETF go live within the past week as well.
Gotcha. So there you guys go. The alpha, right? We got ETFs launching here. Typically, ETFs aren't really a big mover for these tokens. I mean, we've seen a lot of ETFs just get faded and sold off. So maybe it's a delayed thing. I don't know, but just be careful with that. And then, yeah, Bitcoin Cash. I've got a Bitcoin Cash for you guys. In fact, on the Sunday banger, the Legend of E, if you're out there, man, cheers to you. Asked me to do a Bitcoin Cash analysis, and man, we nailed that in the chart hackers. In fact, I'm sitting quite nicely in some profits here. I'll show you guys that, but it looks like it's gearing up for another move to the upside. And then Zcash, is the party over what is going on here. And then Aster looking kind of sad. In fact, I've got an Aster short for you guys. So let's get into some RSI heat maps, and then I'll start getting into some other things here, right? So, for the upside here, what do we got? Pretty much things that I don't really know. Like, look, Link is kind of getting cooked here. Maybe a little bit more for Link, and we can look for a short on Link. And then for the downside, this H token, I was actually looking at it. Quite the aggressive sell-off yesterday, negative 30%. Probably a bounce opportunity at some point. And yeah, we'll get into that here. So let's get into, I want to kind of announce a couple things, right? So number one, let's announce kind of the winners for the Twitter post that I had, right? So if you guys aren't following me here, you guys can follow me here at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. And, I basically had this cat meme thing going on here. I said, hey, whoever comments, what the cat is drinking, I will give you guys a 10K Bitfunded account. So I'm going to give you guys a $10,000 Bitfunded account. Here are the winners: Harvey at Sideswipe, Julian Trinket, Mathwyan. Is that like your Hawaiian, but math? I don't know. Mathwyan. And then Meta Mastermind and HODL Crypto. You five, congratulations. You guys are getting a $10,000 Bitfunded account. So make sure to message me here on Twitter directly, and I will get you guys sorted out. So congratulations to you guys. The other thing too is if you guys go into the show description, right? So if you guys were following me, first, let me kind of explain what's going on here. So on Sunday, I did the Banter Royale, and I decided, let me give Gravity a little bit more of a chance here. Because, doing cross is not an easy thing. But it's something that the Lord of Entry has taught me. And so I've been applying it here, right? So as a matter of fact, this is my Gravity situation at the moment. So I actually turned that 1K into, well, it was kind of 5K, 6K, kind of came down a little bit here, but now kind of sitting at 4K. And one of the cool things about Gravity, this exchange, and I wouldn't say not just cool, but amazing, is that it's all privacy, right? It's on the ZK Sync kind of chain. So if you're the type of person that number one, you don't want people to, have control of your account, right? So, a lot of these other exchanges, they can freeze your account and they can put risk control and all this crap. I mean, this is a decentralized exchange. That means that you have complete access to your account. No one can go in, lock your funds or anything crazy like that. No shenanigans. And also it's all private here, right? So, there's a little bit of a liquidity thing here, but what I found is if you can just stick to limit orders and just be patient, you can actually make out quite well here. You can see I'm doing a little bit of a cross situation here. So 50x leverage, and more importantly, it's just the value size and being able to kind of balance yourself here. You can see I'm holding a pendle short in a little bit of profits, but mostly long, right? I've already taken $3,500 off the table with that Bitcoin Cash long. And yeah, still a little bit of profits. I actually just added to my position. I'll get you guys sorted on that. And it started a 𝗘 long as well. I've got 𝗘 long on another account as well. And then SAHARA and XPL, I'm going to give you guys those as well. But just wanted to kind of highlight Gravity here. You also earn 10% passively on your trading account, right? So as you trade, as you build and compound and you start building up this equity, you automatically start earning 10% on this as well. And I also wanted to highlight, which I didn't really understand until yesterday or a couple days ago, but if you go here into the show description, this is where you can sign up for Gravity. And yeah, guys, there's a $15,000 prize pool going on right now. I'm having to do a little bit of catch up. But yeah, go and get the details here. You're going to want to, all the details are here. You're going to want to sign up with a Banter. This is the code. So when you guys get signed up on Gravity, this is the code. And yeah, you can share in a prize pool of $15,000, which I'm running and gunning for. I'm going to have to do some Degen plays here, but definitely take advantage of it, guys. There's already people here in the top 10, but you can do a lot of damage in 8 days. I plan to go for number one. We'll see how we go. But yeah, make sure to take advantage of that. So that's number one. Number two, I've been doing the scalping stuff on Gravity, and we've been promoting Gravity, right? Banter is a big partner with Gravity, and yeah, it's going down, right? So December 9th, in 4 days, 18 hours, I'm going to be going over some, what the heck am I doing? What's going on in my brain? How do I find the tokens? How am I able to scalp and win these competitions or these Banter Royales? I've won 4 out of 5. And, I told everybody in the Sunday Banger, man, I think I just got lucky, but everyone's like, no, you know something. You need to tell us. And so we're doing it, guys. I'm going to tell you guys and get you guys inside my brain here. And if you guys want to participate in that, again, go into the show description below here. It's actually the first one, this first link here. You're going to click this link. And all you have to do is deposit $100 into your 2-bit account. So you will have to be verified. So you cannot participate unless you are signed up with the $100 into the 2-bit account. And, take advantage of it, right? I'm going to see if I can help all of you guys make some money here with scalping. So just a couple things I wanted to highlight there is this competition with Gravity with 8 days left. And then also December 9th here with this scalp session here. Okay. So there's only 300 spots. So, if again, it's kind of first movers advantage. If you guys kind of wait till the last minute, there might be, might not be an opportunity there. So, right. When opportunity happens, take action. So with that being said, Bitfunded stuff, hopefully you guys took advantage of all the Bitfunded things I was promoting. The 3 for 3 is now over. And some of you guys are like, hey, so how did you do? Thanksgiving, guys, I freaking just went ham. So I got my second funded account here. So I've got a funded account on one account, and then this is my other funded account. And yeah, still kind of tackling this stage 2 on these 150K accounts. I did blow a couple of them, but I still have 4 of them, and I'm on stage 2 on 3 of them, right? So these are the 150K accounts. And then I've also, this is what's crazy. On Sunday, I started the account, or Friday, I started the account on the 3 for 3 with the no waiting 5-day deal. Right, so that's what this is. If you see the expert 2-step, it's kind of a newer look. These are the as soon as you pass, you don't have to wait a couple days, 5 days. And so what I did is I took advantage of that Sunday dump, passed the account, caught the Monday pump, and then within 3 days got this funded account here. Guys, that's how fast it could be, right? So cheers to Bitfunded. They are stepping up their game here. So if you're in a situation where, man, I need to make money right now, I don't really want to use my own money, get signed up with Bitfunded. Again, the description is in the link below here. This is the Bitfunded section. And guys, I'm going to be doing a Bitfunded back-to-back training, or back to the basics training next Wednesday in the Chart Hacker. So you must be a Chart Hacker member. I'm going to go over some of these, kind of the strategies here with Bitfunded. Okay, so that's the Bitfunded stuff. Now let's get into the meats and potatoes with these setups here. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about is 𝗏. Okay, so I like 𝗏. There is a happening here happening, I think, December 9th. Correct me if I'm wrong there, James. So it's coming very soon. And, what has happened here with 𝗏 is we have a break a trend situation. Right. So number one, on the 12-hour time frame, if you have Chart Prime, we had this blue reversal dot. We had this crazy sell-off on Monday, and that was the opportunity. And what's incredible about this is that we came right into value area low, right? If you guys know me, I love the fixed range volume profile, and I've got a big one here, right? And it said value area low was around 250. And we bounced quite perfectly here. And then, kind of just been patiently waiting. And look what we did. We broke trend, and we are literally doing the retest right now on the anchored VWAP on the 382. Let's dial in on the smaller time frames here. This is the 1 hour, and this is what it is. We're pretty much at entry now. Okay, you guys saw me on Gravity. I'm in the trade right now. I've also taken the trade on 𝗑𝗫𝗄. But yeah, here's what we got. We have a fib taking it from the low to the high. We have an anchored VWAP from the absolute low coming in here. And we have this point of control, right? So this is the opportunity, in my opinion, to either add to your position on 𝗏 if you caught the move earlier, or if you want to start the position here, right? So the deal is that, if Bitcoin goes down, the level I told you, then 𝗏 is probably going to do something like this, which is not good, right? But if Bitcoin holds the level that I'm talking about, again, 𝗏 was holding quite nicely over the past 24 hours here. It was up 4% and then came down 4%. But this is a perfect retest. This is the perfect opportunity. Entry is now. And then I would say if we start closing 4-hour candle closes below here, you could then add, but it could also be kind of like, hey, I think I'm going to get out of the position. So again, this is a fundamental trade, pump-a-mentals. There's a happening. There's a lot of exciting things going on here. for Tau. It's not just a meme coin. And, I think the halvening and the hype that's going to be going around, buzzing around it, I see us having a swift move here into the 618. And we have the 50-day moving, or we have the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, the anchored VWAP, and we have the point of control. This, my friends, is a magnet. And just be calculated with your profit taking. Every 3, 4, 5%, take some profits. So it makes a lot of sense to take some profits here at like 320. You can see there's this horizontal resistance here. If you guys don't see that, right, you kind of see that resistance line here. So that's where definitely want to take some profits. And then once we kick on, you take some profits here as well. You can see a bearish order block and then the 618. But ultimately, I'm looking for a 23% move kind of in the short term. And if this thing really delivers, then look, we can see a bigger move to the 618 retracement, which is around 440. And then the value area high would be the big banger here, which is a 786 retracement on the macro as well. So I've taken a fib from the absolute high to the absolute low. And you can see the 382 is coming right in here at 360. The 618 hacker zone is coming right in here around 430. And then value area high would be 476 for a swift 62% move. Let's get it. And this is also on Bitfunded. Okay. So as you can see here, this is what I got going on here on WEX. I started a position here on Tau as well. 200x. This is again the cross strategy. I do not recommend going 20x. If you're brand new, go 5x, go 7x. I have a lot of conviction in this trade here. You can see a little bit of drawdown, but it's pretty much at entry right now, also on the Gravity Exchange. Okay, so I am in this trade. I have taken this trade, and I am looking for it to be sent. Now, moving on, XPL. Now, this is kind of interesting because, there's been a lot of FUD. There was a lot of, investors. There's a lot of the vesting schedule and, a lot of token unlocks. And essentially this thing just got beat to death. And, I just came up under my radar. There was a daily bullish divergence, two of them, a double daily bullish divergence. We had this blue reversal dot. And I started to ape into the trade silently, kind of by myself. And then what happened was we had this crazy pop yesterday as the market was kind of going sideways and down. And if you can see, XPL had this nice pop. So what's interesting here is it was a 13% pump, and a little bit of pump-and-mentals going on here with XPL. So it's part of the stable coin narrative, number one. Number two, on December 18th, they're announcing a token burn kind of proposal, if you will. And if that happens, this burn happens, guys, I think this could potentially be the bottom. Now, this could be easily invalidated. We got value area low. We have this point of control with this anchored VWAP. So if we start drifting here, then get the heck out of the position. But I'm pretty pumped up about it. As you guys can see here on Gravity, I am in this trade. I'm up about $1,000 in profit at the moment. But I'm looking at this as a swing trade, right? So if this thing actually pops the heck off, I'm looking for a bearish retest at the worst case scenario to about 26 cents, which is a 35% move to the upside. Now, if this thing can come alive and whatever, there's more bullish things and people start aping in, like, guys, this is the bottom, right? This is a swing trade. Okay. I'm looking for a massive move to the upside. And even on spot, for those of you guys that don't like trading leverage, get in, sit around, and it could potentially give you 100% 2x here, right? So a 382 retracement from the absolute high here to the low. You can see I took a fib from this wick high. This is essentially the last lower high before the crazy correction. You can see how the hacker zone is tying in perfectly with value area high, and then that 382 kind of coming here at the midline. So again, I have sometimes you got to kind of think like that. You got to be positive and envision it and do a little bit of research. And look, at the end of the day, this setup looks like really good. We're at entry right now for anybody that wants to get into the trade as well. You can see I'm also in this trade on WEX, cranking a little bit of profit at the moment. I'm basically 20x up 3%, $1,200 in profit. Again, I'm looking to send this thing to Valhalla. Let's freaking go, guys. So here's very simple entries now. Like I said, I started silently aping into the position around here, just kind of watching the point of control, watching the anchored VWAP. And then as soon as I saw this, that was confirmation. So we've had this beautiful retest, timing wise, perfect for the show. Entry is now, guys. And again, use proper risk management. Don't mortgage your house. Don't freaking go all in. Be very calculated and be into multiple trades. Now, Banter Royale, I freaking won because of this SAHARA thing. And it made a lot of sense to take along because there was this stupid crash. And I did some research, and it wasn't a scam. It wasn't like a scam thing. I mean, it just ultimately some big whales manipulated this thing, offloaded. The team was very, very like emotionally like messed up by it. There was a huge announcement. There's a bunch of people working in this SAHARA AI, like it's just AI narrative. And yeah, like they were supposed to announce some things. They said, hey, we're not going to announce it anymore because of this crash. We want to get this resolved. We're going to talk to the exchanges. And then what happened was they had an announcement of some updates and things of that nature. And sure enough, this candle freaking popped. It was a 15% move. Not only that, but if you guys track the trend line here, we have broken trend. And we literally did this perfect retest right now, and we're sitting on the anchored VWAPs from the lows. So this, my friends, is also at an entry now. Okay, this is a bit of a Degen play. I gave the entry to all the chart hackers around here. So if you're not in the chart hackers, make sure to get signed up with us. You know, I basically gave some trade setups right now, but you know, I also gave SAHARA here on Monday. You know, kind of gave everybody the heads up here, so you guys can see if you guys want the alpha, you guys want to kind of get in before it pops off. You know, make sure to get started here with the chart hackers. Okay, so SAHARA is at an entry now. And then yeah, the idea here is kind of just holding this bullish order block. You can see this bullish order block right below us here. We have this rising trend in place. So, you know, looking for something like this, and you guys can see that SAHARA is actually a little bit of green here today compared to everything else, right? So again, if SAHARA starts drifting down here, right, and you're like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? Then just get out. Very simple, right? We have a rising trend in play. We have anchored VWAPs. You know, I personally think SAHARA should stay on the outside here and then have this move to the upside. And I'm looking for, I mean, this is a Degen play. So use proper risk management. But I mean, up to the 382 retracement, guys, is 29%. And like I showed you guys, I'm in this trade right now. And I feel pretty good about it. Okay. Now, a little bit more of a safer play is this Bitcoin Cash. And, you know, same thing. I gave all the chart hackers the entry here. And right now we have actually blasted through this resistance line, and it is now flipped as support. We have this anchored VWAP holding. We have this 382. And I've actually added to my position here. So as you guys saw on Gravity, I've taken basically quite a bit off the table already. But I just added to my position here of about a $23,000 position now with Bitcoin Cash. And I am looking for Bitcoin Cash to have a run up here to this high, right? So this is about 640. And if you guys are paying attention to Bitcoin Cash, it is not a token to short. Every time the market starts dumping, Bitcoin Cash just kind of weathers the storm, and it just sits there and, you know, -1%, -2%, or 0%. And I really think there's some manipulators here. I mean, call it manipulation, whatever, but it's this thing about Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash is better. And they seem to have it propped up all the time. So, you know, I expect these guys to kind of, you know, run this to the value, or to this high here at about 640. And that's where I'm probably going to take most of the profits, or maybe even get the heck out of the entire position. But look, if there's more to the story, you know, there's another high here at about 717. And then, yeah, hey, maybe that'll be like the crazy short here, 717. But in the short term, and I will update you guys in the chart hackers about it. But in the short term, I would love to see us make a run up to 650. And again, this also aligns with what I'm looking for with Bitcoin rallying to 96, 97, 98, 100K, right? Whenever that happens, definitely scale out of Bitcoin Cash there, right? So another play here is Celestia and Linea. Tried Linea last week. It didn't really work out. But you know, as you guys know, ETH had this upgrade yesterday, and do we sell it? You know, what's going on? But you know, ETH was freaking running, right? Like there's a lot of stuff happening with ETH right now. And if you guys do some research, again, Linea is burning their tokens along with ETH. So let me cover Linea first as I'm talking about it. But look, this is what we have. I've got a 1010 fib. So from the 1010 crash to the high here, I have the 786. We've bounced off the 786 before. We're holding it here, and we just took out the lows today. Look at that. See this wick right here? We took out the lows right here. So if this is the actual low, I think this is a good opportunity. Look at the reclaim already here. And so I've taken this trade on Bitfunded here on my stage 2 account, the 150K account. You can see Linea is already in a little bit of profit, so get in while you can. I've got a hard stop at 830, 830. Yeah, went decent size here for Linea. So you know, this could be the bottom. tried it a couple times, and sometimes that's the hardest part about trading is getting the freaking entry. And sometimes you got to take some stops, and sometimes you got to cut it. Sometimes you got to be patient, but I think it's here now, right? So taking another stab at Linea right now. Like I told you guys, my stops, basically below the low, 8.3 is my stop loss here. So entries pretty much now. Final stops at 0.083. And I'm getting the heck out of it if that happens here. Okay. Now, as far as taking profits goes, again, just keep it simple. I don't want to waste a lot of time just explaining TP zones the entire time. I've got like 5 minutes left. So point of control right here, take some profits. But ultimately, I'm looking to take this bad boy up to the 50-day moving average. We have value area high here as well, TP zone. And every 5-6% have a plan, take some profits, enjoy yourself. Okay, Celestia. If you guys were paying attention before this Sunday crash or the Monday open crash, there was some shenanigans going on here with Celestia. It was like up 5%, it was like right here. It was up 9 or 10%, and then the crash happened. So I don't know what's going on here. It looks kind of bottomed here. I've got this fixed range volume profile. I have a big one here, a huge fixed range volume profile. Kind of the entire thing. We have value area high here at 260, value area low at 23 cents, and then we have this point of control at 61 cents. And look where we're at right now. We're on the point of control. Not only that, but this is what I was waiting for. I was waiting for this to get above the point of control, and I was waiting for the retest. And guess what? We're in the retest right now. So anchored VWAP, point of control. We're here right now. I've also taken this trade here on Bitfunded. Entry is at now. I'm in the entry now, and my final stops, I'm getting the heck out at 59.70. Okay, so 59.70. That's what I'm getting out. Essentially, we're losing the point of control. We're losing, we're not holding where we should. Like, this needs to hold. I'm not interested if we start drifting here. I'm getting out. Okay, because then we're probably doing something like this or even going lower. Okay, so I think this is a play. I've also taken this trade here a little bit pre-early on WEX here. So I'm a little bit down now. I'm down $1,000, but again, I'm looking to see this one go. So you guys will be that much ahead of me if you want to take this trade. I'm going to add more to my position. It's kind of like playing poker, right? If you guys played Texas Hold'em, we want to see what the flop is. We want to see what the turn is. And then I'm going to add to my position as I get confirmation here. And I'm looking to ride this one here to about 74 cents. And the 50-day moving average here, if the market makers will allow for that. So about a 20% move to this horizontal. And then if we can get to the 50, that's a 37% move. And I would like to say that this is a potential swing trade. Okay. Now, in case we get some more of a dump, ADA looks freaking juicy. I like this a lot. Shout out to Mia for telling me to chart this on the Tuesday charting session. So if you're not a part of the Chart Hackers, get signed up with us. Every Tuesday, I run a charting session for about 2 hours where I go through all these token requests. I do about 30 charts, and we find the best ones. And this one stood out to me. I love ADA. We've always tracked ADA. What I have here is a fib from the low to the high. We have a 382. We have a point of control. We have an anchored VWAP coming in right here. And a little bit more of a dump. That's my entry. And I'm looking to take this one to the 50-day moving average, the anchored VWAP. I mean, this looks like a magnet. This looks really good. We have this trend line here. We have anchored VWAPs coming here. Yes, we have this resistance here about 50 cents. So there could be a pullback, here. But, I'm looking for ADA to kind of at least make its run up here to this level, which is about a 35% move. And you never know. This could be the swing as well, right? We have to always kind of position ourselves in the event of it being a swing trade, right? So I think ADA has been slaughtered. ADA has been basically abused here. Looks bottomed out, in my opinion. And I would like to see a cute move to the upside, 20%. And hey, look, if we break trend, we really kick on here. I mean, guys, this could be a really, really good trade here. Okay, so ADA, again, I'm not in the trade yet. I'm going to wait patiently for it to come into the zone. And I have my alert set here at 42.60. You can see this green box territory. The entry is going to basically be from 0.4167 to 0.4277 here. So again, I would say ADA is more of a safer play, not so crazy. It's not the roller coaster, this volatility, right? So I would say Bitcoin Cash, ADA, those are kind of the safer plays. Now, I do have some shorts. I'm in an ASTER short right now. And yeah, look, you can see here on 𝗬𝗏𝗡, I'm in an ASTER short, pretty much at 2% away here. I went a little bit of size here. It's always important to hedge when you guys are sitting in some longs here, right? So that's kind of the strategy with cross, is holding some big shorts, holding some some big longs, and kind of balance each other out here. So I've been holding this pendle short, and also been holding this ASTER short. And yeah, why am I holding this ASTER short? I think CZ's tried very hard to keep it propped up. And you can see this resistance here, right? This is why the point of control is so important. Look at this point of control. This was support. This was support. And then we lost it. We did the retest, rejection, came all the way down, came all the way up, rejection, right? And I've got this trend line in play right now. So I'm in this short, and I don't think that it's done yet, right? I think it's very likely that we lose this anchored VWAP and do something like this. And again, it's a hedge, right? Just in case Bitcoin does start going down to those levels. You can also see this bearish order block here. It just made a lot of sense for me to take this trade. I've also got a fib from the wick high to the low. You can see we came in, how that 382 came in perfectly with that point of control. So I'm tracking this trend line right now. And I've got this trend line drawn from this wick high here from the 21st of November. So just watch it, guys. Like if we start popping up here, I mean, you can start a small position now. If we pop up here again, you can add to your size. This trend line is just, not necessarily high conviction trend line. It's just one. Even if the trend line gets invalidated, there's a lot of resistance here. You can see the 50-day moving average acting as resistance. All these anchored VWAPs acting as resistance. So this trade idea is invalidated if we start popping up here and finding this as support. So as of now, this is the trade idea. Kind of if we get this pop up here to the point of control at 108, this is the entry. And yeah, again, it's a hedge play, right? And for the most part, I've been pretty good about finding the heartbeat of ASTER and what it's going to do here. Okay. And then let's talk about it real quick, James, because we're running out of time. Pengu, right? So Pengu is another banging short. Why? Well, 𝗗𝗫𝗄𝗃. There's some kind of crazy unlock here. And I know you were doing a little bit more research there too, James.
43% of the entire supply is to be unlocked in a single day on December 17th. So be very careful if you guys have bags of this stuff. That's going to be an ugly day. I was telling Dave before the show, I'm not very interested in the token at this point because of that. I can't believe it's been set up that way, but we could get into a really nice short because when that gets unlocked, of course, people are going to take profits and sell out, right?
Absolutely, right. And so the idea here, guys, is if Bitcoin does rally a bit, which I do expect, right, we could see this little bounce here with Pengu, but there's this horizontal resistance here about 0.01264. That's where I would like to start building this short. This is also a macro trend line here. So set your alerts at this level, 0.01265. Okay, this is the short zone. And yeah, just wait for it. Wait for it to come into the zone. And then, yeah, let's take advantage of this token unlock, guys. This could be a very, very nice move. Probably go test these lows here. I mean, I think it's a nice hedge play here. So with that being said, guys, again, this is kind of the Bitcoin scenario, right? We need to make sure that we hold 90,600 or we're screwed. if we lose this level, assess the situation, hold the shorts. That's why I'm in some shorts right now. You guys saw I'm holding a Pendle short. I'm holding ASTER shorts, and I'm going to have those probably take some profits here, add into the drawdowns of my longs, and then take that move to the upside. But as of now, I am looking for Bitcoin to have that short-term bounce towards the 97, 98K region. Cool. So yeah, guys, look, I'm excited. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm freaking like Super Saiyan mode. And look, hopefully I've added some value here. I've gave you guys a good setup. Hopefully you guys make some profits on some of these here. You've learned something strategy-wise, mindset-wise. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys. Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm going to be a guest on the Lord of Entry show. So I'm going to bring another setup. Also, if you guys are in the chart hackers, I think I do have the collab session with Trader J. There's always stuff going on all the freaking time. We're fired up here in the chart hackers. And if you guys are not part of us, go into the show description below, get started with us. It's like a gym membership. It's $149 a month. We just upgraded our price, right? So, a huge demand. A lot of people have been getting a lot of value from the chart hackers. And it's kind of like the difference from, if you guys are here in Texas, we have this gym called LA Fitness. And then we have this gym called Lifetime. Lifetime's $250 a month. LA Fitness is like $100 a month, right? It's kind of like we're the Lifetime Fitness. We have personal trainers, we have coaches, we have the spa treatments, we have freaking massage therapists, we have a haircut. I mean, Lifetime Fitness is like a freaking, it's a vibe, right? And that's what I would like to say about chart hackers is it is a vibe, and I would love to have you guys part of the family. So with that being said, cheers, and we'll see you guys on the next trade.